I think that the Chicago School Board should be very nervous. Let me thank Sue Garza for that lovely introduction and for the great work she's doing on the Board of Aldermen. Let me thank Jesse Sharkey, Stacey Davis Gates, Crystal Williams Hayes, Maria Moreno, and let me thank the more than 25,000 members of the Chicago Teachers Union. And let me thank SEIU Local 73. And I want to thank all of you, staff and teachers, for becoming the conscience of the United States of America, here in Chicago and all over this country. What we are seeing is teachers standing up and fighting for justice. Thank you very much. You know, every problem in society, hunger, domestic violence, poverty, it walks into your doors, doesn't it? You see it every day. And at a time when we in the wealthiest country in the history of the world have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth, you are demanding, and I am demanding, a change in national priorities. At a time when we have a dysfunctional child care system, in which all over this country, Vermont, Chicago, all over this country, working class people cannot find the quality, affordable child care they need, you are standing up for a change in national priorities. At a time when great teachers, experienced teachers, are leaving the profession because they can't make an income to support their families, you are standing up for a change in national priorities. You want, and I want, that the teaching profession receive the honor and respect it deserves for the enormously important work you do. And I'm not here just to flatter you. I'm not here to say nice things about you. What I'm here to say is what you know. Anybody, and I hear all these politicians, they got big flags behind them. They tell us how much they love America. If you love America, you love the children of America. If you love the children of America, you love the people who educate and take care of those children. So we got a lot of work to do in front of us, and what we know, when we change our national priorities, we ain't giving tax breaks to billionaires. We are investing in our kids, in our schools, and in our educators. So let me tell you some of what I think has to happen nationally and the role of the federal government in making it happen. Too many of our kids are going to schools that are inadequately funded, which is why in my education reform proposal, we triple funding for Title I schools. Teachers in Chicago and in Vermont and all over the country are dealing with kids who are walking in the door with a lot of issues. And that is why we're going to significantly increase funding for the IDEA program. Education should not end just at the end of the school day, and that is why we are going to adequately fund after-school programs and summer programs. Working parents have a right to know that their kids are going to be in a safe and constructive environment after school. They have a right to know that in the summertime, their kids are going to get the educational and recreational opportunities that they need. We expand funding for universal education in this country. Children in Chicago or any other school district in the country should not be going to schools where the buildings need maintenance, where the kids do not have the latest and best technology available to them. And that is why we're going to put people to work rebuilding schools all over this country. That is what our children and our educators deserve. In the United States, love you too. In the United States of America, it is an absolute disgrace that we have children who go hungry. And our plan is going to feed every child in this country who needs quality nutrition. And I'll tell you something else we're going to do. I want the best and the brightest young people in college to say, I want to become a teacher because there's nothing more important than I can do. I want to become a teacher. I want to become a teacher or a support staff person. Thank you, support staff. You make the schools go. I want to become an educator because it is the right and patriotic thing to do. If we look to the future of this country, the children are the future. And we have a moral responsibility to make sure that those kids get the very best education that we can provide them. And that's what you do. And let me tell you something else. Let me tell you something else that we're going to do. Not only are we going to beat Trump, we're going to decimate Trumpism. We are going to end the racism and the sexism and the homophobia and the xenophobia and the religious bigotry that comes out of that administration. We're going to put all of that behind us and create a nation that brings all of our people together, black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight, immigrant, native born. We bring our people together around an agenda that works for all of us, not just the 1%. And when we talk about our young people, let me also say that in my view, I do not want one kid in this country who is in the 11th grade or 12th grade to think that he or she cannot get a higher education because their family lacks the funds. 4 years ago when I came to Chicago and I campaigned here, I said, we must make public colleges and universities tuition free. And in the last 4 years, 12 states in this country have moved in that direction. And when we are in the White House together, we're going to make public colleges and universities tuition free in every state in this country. Now let me ask you guys a question. How many of you are dealing with student debt? Raise your hand. Okay. Well, let me tell you what we're going to do about that one. "11 years ago, as you all remember, against my vote, the United States Congress bailed out the crooks on Wall Street to the tune of trillions of dollars of zero-interest loans from the Federal Reserve. 2 years ago, Trump and his friends gave over $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and large, profitable corporations. Well, it seems to me that if we could bail out the crooks on Wall Street, if we can give tax breaks to billionaires, we can cancel all student debt in this country. And I will tell you how we're going to pay for it. My critics, of which, needless to say, there are more than a few, and they say, "Hey, Bernie, you're such a nice guy. You're giving away all of this. How are you going to pay for it?" I will tell you exactly how we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it through a tax on Wall Street speculation. At a time of massive and grotesque income and wealth inequality in America, when 3 people on the top own more wealth than the bottom half of the American people. You got that? 3 people. At a time when the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 92%. At a time when 49% of all new income goes to the top 1%. At a time when over the last 30 years, the top 1% saw their wealth increase by $21 trillion, while the bottom half of American society saw a decline in their wealth. So it seems to me that we know where the money is. And under our administration, the billionaire class and the large profitable corporations will start paying their fair share of taxes. We just yesterday introduced a tax on wealth, which says to the top 0.5% that we're going to tax the very richest people in this country so that we adequately fund housing, we adequately fund child care, and we create a Medicare for all healthcare system which guarantees healthcare to every man, woman, and child in this country. Brothers and sisters, healthcare is a human right, not a privilege. And if our neighbors in Canada and countries all over this world can make sure that people get all the health care that they need as a right, we are prepared to take on the greed of the drug companies and the insurance companies and do it right here in America. So tonight, I am so proud to be here with you tonight to say to the city of Chicago, sit down with the CTU, sit down with the SERU, and negotiate a good faith contract that is just, that is fair, that treats the teachers and staff in this city with the respect and dignity that they deserve. Today I say to the city of Chicago, sit down and negotiate a contract that substantially reduces class sizes in the city of Chicago. It is no great secret that kids can't learn and teachers can't teach if the class size is too high. Tonight I say to the city of Chicago, substantially increase the pay and benefits for teachers in Chicago. And for the support staff in Chicago. And tonight, I say to the city of Chicago, we are going to have a Medicare for all, but we're not there yet. So sign a contract with the unions that does not force them to pay more for the health care that they need. Tonight, I say to the city of Chicago, sign a contract that deals with the desperate shortage of school nurses, of social workers, of librarians, and of other critical staff that keep our schools going. Now, the proposal that I brought forth on education ends all private charter schools in this country. And tonight I say to the city of Chicago, sign a contract with the unions that does not expand charter schools in Chicago. Brothers and sisters, I just want to thank you so much for two reasons. Number one, I want you to know that you are doing some of the most important work that can possibly be done in our country. You are giving hope to the children. You're giving love to the kids. You're educating the kids. You're preparing the kids at a very difficult time to go out in the world and succeed. To my mind, when we talk about valuing work, it's not the hedge fund managers on Wall Street that we should value. It is the teachers of this country. It is the staffing in this country. It is the school nurses and the librarians. So thank you so much for loving the kids and for wanting these kids to do well. And that's reason number one. And reason number two that I'm here to thank you is you understand what I understand, is that for the last 45 years there has been a war in this country by the corporate elite against the working class of our nation. The rich become phenomenally richer, and the working class struggles. And what we are here to say is that you know and I know that the only way we grow the working class in this country, the only way we bring prosperity to working people is when we significantly increase membership in trade unions all across America. And here is the very good news, is that all across America there are millions of working people who want to join unions. Because they know that alone they can't negotiate anything. But when people are united and stand together, you can get decent wages and decent working conditions. And that's why I have introduced legislation which will make it easier for workers to join a union. If 50% of the workers in a bargaining unit plus one sign a card saying they want to join a union, they're in a union. So right now, in an unprecedented and dangerous moment in American history, our job is twofold. Number one, it goes without saying, we have got to defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history in this country. But second of all, in the richest country in the history of the world, we are going to create an economy and a government that works for the working people of this country, not just wealthy campaign contributors. So brothers and sisters, thank you so much in standing up for the kids. Let's go forward together. Let's win this thing. Thank you.